This year got his 7th OTA day. How's it just been being out here with the guys?
It's been great. It's been great getting to work and compete a little bit. Obviously, it's not as ramped up as it will be in camp, but just getting that competitive spirit back, getting to go against each other. Whether it's Pascal or just jog through tempo and team, just being able to compete and see different looks from our defense. They do so many things that helps us prepare, for whatever we're going to see during the season. So it's been good to see those guys and just to see how everybody's improved over the offseason.
Where have you seen yourself sort of improve? I know you wanted to focus on the leadership aspect. Where have you seen yourself sort of improve from?
Yeah, I think obviously that's just a continual chase to be better and better and be a better leader and be that example for this team. But also I think just the little things, the details of the position, whether it's different progressions, just being smarter with the ball in certain situations. I think you look at our season last year and had a lot of situations where we made a lot of crazy plays, did a lot of things that we needed to do to win games, but how do I just play in and play out, be more consistent, take the check down on certain plays, when do I trust my instinct, just being smart about all that. I think, I do that well at times, and there's sometimes I can be a little bit more consistent and just make the easy plays, make the routine plays every time, and that's what I'm trying to improve on.
How has your leadership changed based on whether it's the performance last year or comfort levels of the guys? How has that changed?
Yeah, not a lot's changed. I try to be the same guy every day. But I think just being able to speak out, one, just knowing everybody more. You have those relationships with guys that have been here since my rookie year and then guys that came in last year. And then now being a third-year guy with the rookies coming in, I think you just have that experience where you feel more comfortable speaking up and being the leader in the room, leader of the offense. And then beyond that, I think obviously playing well and having the year we had last year gives you more confidence, and that helps a little bit. But at the end of the day, I try to be the same guy. I don't change just because we had some success last year. I try to be that same guy, lead by example, and use my voice when needed.
Have you noticed guys responding any differently?
I think the biggest thing I noticed is we have a lot more voices. We have a lot more guys leading because we have so many more guys that have carried over from last year, and the guys that were new last year, maybe they didn't speak up as much. They just kind of did their job and earned that respect from their teammates. But now their second year on the team and having those relationships, I think we got more guys that are willing to speak up and lead. So
how well do you think the team will handle heightened expectations, sort of being the hunted as opposed to being the hunter like you guys were last year?
Yeah, it doesn't change anything for us. Obviously, if anything, it's got to work even harder. It doesn't really change anything for us. Regardless of the expectations, the game is played on Sunday. You got to go out there and play the game, regardless of if people think you're going to win, think you're going to lose. Doesn't really matter. So, and that's the mindset we had last year, being pretty much underdog in every game, and we got to carry that over this year too. We still have to have that chip on our shoulder and prepare the same way. We still didn't get to where we wanted to last year, so we have a lot more work to do.
Trevor, is there in your own mind, and I know you're not going to actually tell us a number, but do you sort of have a number in your own mind about how much more parts of the game you'd like to see out of the offense? Because obviously you want more.
Yeah, obviously you're looking to improve in every category, in every part of your personal game and as an offense. And at the end of the day, no, I'm not going to give you an answer because we're going to score as many points as it takes to win. And some weeks that might be 35, some weeks that might be 17. Who knows what it's going to be. Obviously, we want to score as many points as we can. But at the end of the day, if we got one more point than the other team, that's what it's about.
Trevor, have you seen anything from Calvin or learned about Calvin that you didn't know maybe 3 or 4 months ago?
Yeah, I know some guys that played with him in Atlanta. I don't keep in touch with those guys as much anymore. So I didn't know much about him personally. Obviously, I know the kind of player he is. I've watched him the last few years and was super excited about that aspect of him joining our team. But just to get to know him as a person and just to see his work ethic and how hungry he is to get back and to play and how happy he is to be a part of our team, I think that's been the coolest part of having him here.
Is it nice to have a normal offseason, like you're not adjusting to the league, not adjusting to a new coach and a new system?
Definitely, to have the same staff, to have a lot of the same players, to have that carryover, and the system especially. This is the first time in a while I haven't been learning a new offense, so that feels good having that and being able to focus on little parts of my game instead of just making sure I got the installs and know the plan coming into practice. Obviously you look over that too, but not having that stress of just learning the playbook, I can just really focus on my game and my mechanics.
Looking forward to that once last season ended, you got over that. It's like, okay, I'm going to finally be able to do this.
Definitely. There's definitely a different feel in this offseason, being able to unwind a little bit and then disconnect. Last year, obviously my rookie year didn't really have an offseason going into the league. It's a pretty busy year, and then getting drafted and then you're trying to adjust. And then last year, you know, with the coaching change and all that, not sure what was going to happen, and then having coach hired and trying to learn the system and all that, it's really don't have much of an off season because you're trying to figure out kind of what the next step is. And now we have our culture set, we have our staff, we have our system. It feels good having that in place.
Trevor, what does it mean to you to have a coach like Doug who's played your position? How does that help you develop as a quarterback?
It helps a lot, just having a coach that played the position and has a huge say and hand in our offense, so he knows all the ins and outs. You can have those conversations with him. He can, you know, give me things that he's seen in his past of calling this play or whatever it is that he's seen, whatever it's progression or footwork or anything like that. And then I think his mindset, the way he thinks and the way he communicates is the biggest thing. Because he's a quarterback, I think that position is just a little different than the other ones, especially the way you interact. And just having a guy like Coach who's played it, who's done it before, it helps a ton.
You go from a boat trip in year one, small group, to Bahamas before year two. Do you feel the need to ramp it up every year now with the off-season trip? Have you made plans on that?
We'll see. We got some plans. I like to keep it under wraps because people can be kind of weird sometimes and kind of get there ahead of us. So, but yeah, we got a good trip planned. I will say we're going to stay in the States this year. It makes it a little easier on logistically. So we're going to stay in the States, but we'll have the guys out there, and it'll be fun. It's great just bonding, getting to know guys. I think that helped us a lot, and just to build those relationships. Awesome.